Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we are merely role players. Hello everyone, welcome to this studio production playing The Labyrinth, based on the Jim Henson film. Hi, I'm Nat. I will be orchestrating this game. I am your Goblin Queen, if you will. And around me are my wonderful players, my Labyrinth dwellers. We want to go around and say hello, who you are, where we've last seen you.
Hello, I'm Matt Boothman. I'm the usual compere on Merely Role Players. I've given up the chair this time. Nat has usurped it from me. The Goblin Queen took my seat. And you'll have last heard me in our most recent season, Vigil, Dream Big.
Hello, I'm Ellie. We're recording in my flat and I have a very noisy cat. So you're
I was going to make sure we introduce Maud as one of the players. Yeah.
I don't know. I think she'll just play the role of shouty.
Yes. There we go.
Yeah, thanks.
That's a trait, or is it a flaw?
Both. A trait can be a flaw, as the rules suggest.
I think you'll have last heard me in some studio productions playing the microgames.
Hello, I'm Strat, and you'll have last heard me also in Vigil Dream Big, playing Briar and being a bit of a menace.
Classic Briar.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Helen. You'll have also last heard me in Dream Big.
Not being a menace.
Never.
Would never dream.
No, Strat's got it covered.
So, like I said, we're playing the Labyrinth adventure games. This has been adapted. It's based on the film from 1986 by Jim Henson. It's been adapted by Ben Milton and Jack Caesar. And actually, before we start, I wanted to give some props to this book because it's beautiful on its own. Mm-hmm. It's full of art inspired by the film. And the book itself looks like Sarah's book that she has around with her, and it's very cute. So it's been done with a lot of love.
We'll put pictures on our Instagram, so you can see just how beautiful the book is, and also there'll be a link in the program notes to the game itself for anybody who wants to check it out more.
Thanks, producer Matt. I've had to make a couple of adaptations to this because we are doing sort of a one-shot version as opposed to a full campaign. So theoretically, this game could take like 4 or 5 2 to 3 hour sessions because you can get lost in the maze, and depending on how you roll, you might loop back to places you've been before. We don't have time for that in this limited series. So out of the 20, 40, 60, 80, nearly 90 different rooms and encounters that are in this book, I've narrowed it down to about 6 per area of the labyrinth, and we'll see what your dice roll as to which ones you end up with.
Wow.
There are a couple of rooms that I'm really hoping you roll. We'll see. I might cheat.
You're the Goblin Queen.
I'm the Goblin Queen.
What you would do.
I wanted to start before we've got characters to create. We've got character sheets in front of you. Before we start with that, I wanted to go around and see what everyone's experiences of the film were. Because this was a film, it came out the year before I was born, and I watched it a lot as a kid. I had a double feature video cassette with The Dark Crystal, and I watched it all the time. And I'm pretty sure it's responsible for me loving a big sleeve as a fashion item, as the players can attest. I've chosen my outfit today with a purpose, even though this is an audio medium.
Once again, Instagram, Merely Role Players.
But how about the rest of you? I know we have a mixed bag.
I don't think I saw it until I was in university. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get it didn't change my childhood brain chemistry.
Sure.
I think that the biggest kind of influence it's had is it's just got a few extremely quotable bits. Mm-hmm. So you think my labyrinth is a piece of cake, do you? Is in my everyday vocabulary. Yeah. To some extent when it's relevant.
And I don't know if you've noticed the difficulty rating for the rolls. Instead of sort of setting in D&D, you set this roll is a DC 15 or whatever. Because we're only rolling 1d6 in most cases, the difficulty rating goes from a piece of cake to it's not fair. Yeah, that's the difficulty ratings that we're dealing with.
Definitely made by people who love this movie and this story, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think there's a whole generation of people who are programmed to respond to, you remind me of the Babe.
What Babe?
Babe with the power. There we go, exactly.
But you two just dropped it. What was that?
I laughed too much. And we would be here for a long time.
Okay, well,
I think I was worried because we started doing it in unison. I was worried I was going to get it wrong.
Okay, well, I think we'll manage to do it at least once. Yeah, it was a TikTok sound, I think, during COVID. So there's like a whole other generation that will have come to Labyrinth probably from that quote first, which is delightful in a
From the
way.
start of Magic Dance that
Yeah,
you run me
yeah.
through.
So they'll have wondered what that sound is from, listened to the whole song, discovered it's a film soundtrack, and then seen the film.
Yeah.
Which is very cool, I think.
Yeah.
I'm really new to the film. As a child, I only really watched Mary Poppins, so a lot of other stuff I didn't get the opportunity. I'd like to apologise to my sister, Sarah, for the fact that she's not seen a lot of classic cinema because I only wanted to watch Mary Poppins again and again.
You denied her the chance of a film with the main character with the same name as her to identify with.
Really sorry.
I mean, Mary Poppins is a jam, though. It's amazing, so that's
If you
fair.
could find a Mary Poppins RPG, that would be amazing.
Well, maybe we'll have to look for one. Okay.
Yeah, so I think I watched the film with Strat for the first time probably only 5 years ago or something. And then we watched it again last week. But the first time we watched it, I don't know, I had quite a strong emotional reaction to Ludo. And that's informed how I'm going to play today.
Similar to Helen, I did not see the film as a child and saw it, I think, for the first time sometime in the last 10 years, which I think is actually a bit unusual because I grew up in a sort of Muppet-loving household. So it should have been part of the repertoire, really, but wasn't, for whatever reason, probably deemed too scary in places.
Weird, scary Muppets.
Yeah. We had varying levels of like willingness to tolerate fear amongst the siblings. So yeah, I think watching it as an adult is interesting because I have sort of a reverence for it as a cult classic and, you know, a key part of lots of people's childhoods, but can also see it from a slightly removed standpoint and find various bits of it sort of quite funny, probably not in the way they were intended to be funny. And I think that my main emotional response, to use Helen's terminology, to the film was around the frequency the exposure of David Bowie's trouser parts.
Yes. Yeah. Which, again, I think as a child did not occur to me there was a thing.
But the camera operators are very aware. There's some directorial choices being made.
I mean, the costume department was very aware
there's
as well.
some collusion, I think, to showcase the goods. Yeah, so it's a lot. I mean, it's a just completely unique experience of a film, really, isn't it? But yeah, I like it, and I rewatched it with the Strattons last week. So I find new strange things every time I see it,
which I think is probably what they were after.
Oh yes, I think they knew they were creating an onion film where there's just layer upon layer of bizarre and wonderful things to discover.
And Strat, you grew up with it.
It holds a very special place in my heart and in my childhood. It's one of those films that I don't remember not knowing it existed. Like, you watch it the first time when you were so young. It's just like, this film has always been in my memory. Quote-wise, my sister and I don't know how many times we will have said it is sweet and fragrant and nobody may pass without my permission, but it's a lot of times that is, and Come Inside and Meet the Missus. It is just such a wonderfully credible film. It also introduced me to David Bowie, which I will be forever grateful for, because my mum went, he's an actual musician. I was like, what? Oh my God, he's amazing.
He has other songs.
He has other things. Exactly. He doesn't just throw babies up into the air willy-nilly. This man has range.
How old were you when you realised it wasn't his hands manipulating the crystal balls?
Early 30s?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, far too old to admit. But I hate the fact that I wish I'd never known, because the moment you see it, it's so obvious, and it's at such a weird angle. It's all you can see.
Which are puppet experts? How have puppet experts failed to make a very basic human puppeteering experience appear to be? It's just it's wild.
It is a bit odd, but it is great.
It's kitsch and it's camp is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's ticking boxes. Maybe it was a conscious choice.
Yeah.
One for the fans.
Does everyone have a favourite puppet with it? I mean, Helen was yours Ludo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not obviously. He's not a puppet, obviously.
I don't.
But he's a real boy.
Yeah, I think I really hadn't been thinking about him as a puppet. I think I think of all the others as puppets, but not Ludo.
Yeah.
Until maybe right now.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Oh, no.
It's fine. Like
shattering illusions.
What was I
thinking
thinking was going on with that guy? Anyway.
I think I have an appreciation for the junk lady because she's so scary. I think it's partly the actual puppet and partly the that she's intruding on the safe bedroom area in that scene. But in terms of favourite, it's got to be Didymus.
Yeah, right.
Particularly Didymus on Ambrosius, which I assume is one
wobbling
puppet.
around.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, that's a lot of rewinding and watching it again. The bit actually where they go over the bog of eternal stench on the fart stones, that has been rewound. I think we probably spent a good half an hour just rewind, watch that again, watch that again.
Is that the bit where it's real dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the interchange of that, the real dog bits.
What do you mean? It's okay. That one's okay.
I really like a lot of the just random goblins.
Yeah.
Goblins with teeth on a stick are great. The one that wears a big cannon as a hat, effectively. Yeah. The ones that are the cannonballs that get shot into the wall and says, "Did I hit something?"
Yeah.
I look like the range and there's the silliness of all of them is so lovely. Obviously all the main ones and the worm, because the worm is got 3 lines and is the biggest memory I have. Absolute icon. But yeah, the amount of time and love they must have put into all these little goblins that when they're running around the city, it's just glorious.
Yeah, I was going to say the goblins because they're each completely individual.
Yeah,
I think it would have been so easy to just sort of copy paste a bit, but the design time that's gone into that is incredible. And with the scary junk lady, it's not so much to do with the puppeteering as such, but the thing I think I found scary was that she's just constantly talking, and there's this just constant flow of speech combined with adding stuff to the pile. And it's really overwhelming, and she's not listening. She won't listen.
No.
The thing that it took me ages again to realise, this is why it's lovely going back and watching it when you're older and can appreciate and take things in more, is that she's turning Sarah into one of her. She's
you can see the pile behind
ages for me to realise oh my god, that's how presumably she was made. Who was she before she was smothered with all of this stuff? And
and I think as a kid you get the subconscious level of that. I can tell that it is scary, but you don't have the appreciation of it's mirroring.
That was always the worst bit of the film.
Great commentary on capitalism.
Right.
Shout out to the weird, right way up, upside down guards.
As well.
Are they goblins or are they something different?
They look similar to Didymus, right? They've got that foxy face and moustaches, but they're not knights.
Plus the hands. That's the thing, actually. The hands
are
I
so
adore
clever.
the hands. They are so good.
There is. I will reveal this to you now. There is one of the rooms which I've had to cut because we're doing an audio medium where you encounter the hands, but to defeat the room, the players have to combine their hands together and talk like the hands.
I love this game already.
To sort of communicate with them, which I thought is a really great touch.
That's so cool.
So you've got to become puppets yourselves.
When we branch into video.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why did she choose
or
down?
live?
Why did she choose down?
She chose down. That's another one. That's another one.
Yeah.
It would have said so many times.
Oh, she'd have gone that way. She would have gone straight to the castle. Right. I think it's time to choose your characters and who you're bringing into this labyrinth. This labyrinth will have a lot of echoes of the film. There'll be a lot of familiar moments, but there'll be a lot that is new and our version and different. And just as the film focused around Sarah, who is a human, but you don't have to play a human. You can play one of the labyrinth dwellers. So you have a choice between, you can play a dwarf, a fiery. Loved the fieries as well, by the way. Very clever puppetry. I mean, you can see the green screen now. Watching it back, it's very, very nice. But
I think I need to watch this again. Or should we watch it later?
Yeah.
So I loved the fieries as well. I think I was leaning towards playing a fiery today, but I felt the play would be very much like almost every other character I've played on Millie Role Players. So I've tried to make a different choice, and then as we get into my character, you'll see how much I've failed to make a different choice.
Okay, so you've got dwarves, fairies, goblins, humans, knights of yore, horned beasts, and worms that you can play as. So, like, all of the iconic species within this labyrinth. And they all have their own special abilities and things that they can do. And also, we're going to have to address, why are they no longer under the thrall of the Goblin Queen? Why are they... We're going Goblin Queen. So, we'll start, Helen, because you have a distinct idea of who you're going to play.
I'm going to play a horned beast called Linda. So the built-in trait on the horned beast is control object, and the built-in flaw is very big. So I suppose that's pointing towards where, if you listen to Vigil, you can see that I've just picked a character that can control an object again. No regrets. I don't care what you think.
So what can Linda control?
The wind.
Yes, nice. Very atmospheric.
I think so. Strat and I were discussing it, and I wanted to pick something that wasn't rocks but was going to be useful, and which pointed me towards the wind, which is weird to do because you can't see the wind. But
Just shows how good I am at pointing.
Really good at pointing.
You can hear it in the Bog of Eternal Stench, though.
Oh, yeah.
The bad wind.
Oh, that's a good point. Is your wind a mysterious wind or a
Bum wind.
Yep.
No.
Controls farts.
If only one could control farts. Right, no.
That could be a subsection of the wind that you control. You could also control sort of elemental weather wind and sidebar of bum wind.
Yeah. I mean, the bum wind's never getting anywhere near you. You're never smelling it.
Maybe.
Send it away.
Exactly.
Maybe it's like Avatar Last Airbender, where controlling the wind is your main element, but when you get super experienced, you can control bum wind as well.
Yeah.
The dizzying heights of bum wind control. Ironically, though, only someone else's, not your own.
That's a great twist. That's a great twist.
What does Linda look like?
Pretty much the same as Ludo, except maybe a little bow hooked round one of the horns. Maybe it's like a bauble that she's found from a human.
Cute.
That has lost it. Just to try and appear more feminine. But that's just the patriarchy. Patriarchy still exists in the labyrinth. I'm sorry, I just brought it in. Snuck it in there.
Even with a queen.
Even with a goblin queen.
Oh, yeah.
Outrageous.
If humans have got in,
Yeah,
so's
that's
the
true.
patriarchy.
Yeah.
That is true. That's all we need to know about Linda for the moment.
Great.
Anyone else got any urgent leanings?
Well, I don't know how urgent it is, but I would like to play a Knight of Yore. Yeah, I really love the character in the film. I think just maximum silly, really. I really like a character that is earnestly silly.
Yeah.
And has a lot of conviction and doesn't really realise how ridiculous they are. I think the vibe I'm going for with this character is George from Blackadder. Like, kind-hearted, bumbling idiot. The kind of out-of-the-box trait that comes with this is honourable, with no flaws. And the opportunity to find a steed in gameplay, which I'm keen to do. I just think the idea of a knight without a steed is a real missed opportunity.
It's very sad.
Very sad. Just sort of trundling through the woods by foot isn't as good. I hadn't really thought that much about a name and was thinking about posh names, but then thinking, would it be posh but also a bit silly? So I wondered about, rather than Harold, Barold.
Yeah.
Maybe people sometimes shorten it to Barry. I don't know. Sir Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's the thing. You have to be prefixed with Sir or Lady. Although now tempted to be Lady Barold.
Lady Barry is nice.
But I think I want to be a Sir, though, actually. Yeah, so Sir Barold, maybe?
Lovely. Obviously, we all have a picture of Sir Didymus in our head, but what does Sir Barold look like?
Oh, I think sort of fresh-faced. Like, fresh out of night school. And I think public schoolboy vibes.
Still miniature foxy appearance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Waistcoat, I think that's important.
Yeah.
And pocket watch.
Lovely. It doesn't specify whether you have a sword or not. So we might leave it for, there are opportunities to pick up items and weapons and stuff within the labyrinth. So we'll maybe leave you with your pocket watch for now.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure that out later.
Great.
Matt, Strat?
Surprising possibly no one, I would like to order off menu.
This is possible. This is possible within the game.
Because I love all of the, as we've discussed, I love all of the cool puppets and things from the movie, but I'm like, let's discover some of the other weird creatures that live. Like, if I could come up with my own Henson Creature Shop puppet, what would it be? Definitely want to be a weird creature.
Great.
So I think, to make it simpler, I probably want to start with the dwarf build from the book, or like the starting guidelines, because I want my character to be an artist, a painter, and all of like the dwarves come with like a job and a tool.
Yes.
So that feels sort of appropriate. But in terms of look, I don't want to be a little dwarf. I would like to be some kind of weird, messed up bird, please.
Some kind of messed up bird.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I had in my head some kind of mix of emu, dodo, but the main ingredient is shoebill stalk.
Oh, they're amazing.
Right.
Which have a really malevolent energy to them.
Oh no!
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
no!
They're scary.
Oh.
They have kind of evil eyes, and their beak kind of looks like the front of a clog stuck to their face.
Yeah.
Very, very, very striking.
If a bird was going to be a Jim Henson
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're the worst bird.
Yeah.
I think
A damning indictment.
Yeah, I think some people, like uneducated people, might say that it's a vulture, but I'm just saying, do your research.
Google with caution.
Like shoebills have a look. I mean, I think have we all seen the David Attenborough like documentary where they really featured them, and there was just that shot of it turning and it clocked the camera, and that was a face of pure evil, right? Is that the way that your shoebill is going to be?
I don't want to bring pure evil to it.
Sure.
I don't want to be an evil party member, but certainly a flawed character.
Yeah. Dwarves actually don't suggest any traits or flaws. Like, so the job
goes
artist is your
in
trait.
the trait box.
I
Right?
wonder if looking terrifying could be your flaw
Could be.
when you don't necessarily want to be.
Yeah.
Which might make some social encounters more difficult.
Potentially. I've got a flaw in mind that would already make social encounters difficult.
Okay. Well,
And I was thinking of a kind of like not a very put together weird bird. So like in the same way as a lot of the Labyrinth Creature Shop puppets are a little bit ramshackle and messy looking. This is a like shoebill stalk is the base template, but then think rumpled.
yeah.
So maybe not as threatening as a real shoebill in the real world.
Right. Okay, sure. And how big I mean, you mentioned emu and dodo, which are very big.
I was thinking like size of a human teen.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of height.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like if Sir Barold didn't find a mount within a steed within the labyrinth, you've already got a couple of people that you could use as steeds in the meantime.
Hop on board.
Yeah.
Are you flightless?
Yes. I think probably like little stubby wings that you can flap really, really hard and fast to hover for a short time.
Yeah.
But definitely can't fly, because that would mean I could just fly over the labyrinth, and then that would be too easy.
Nonsense.
No flying birds allowed in the Goblin Queen's labyrinth.
Do you have a name?
Gundle.
Gundle.
Oh.
Nice. Nice.
I did a sort of similar thing to Ellie of like think of a word and change the first letter, because I was like thinking of that kind of rumpled appearance. The word in my head was bundle. It's a little bundle of feathers. But then
A big
change
bundle
it.
of feathers.
Big bundle of feathers. But yeah, Gundle. I don't know what to name this kin other than like weird bird.
Well, maybe we'll find it along the way. You'll figure it out. We'll see it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there'll be more. Maybe. Do you think you're the only one?
I hadn't thought about it. I'm excited to find out.
Strat?
I'm going to be a worm.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. My worm's called Winkle.
Inspired by David Bowie's trousers.
Jesus. Honestly, hadn't quite. No, I'm going to stick with Winkle.
I love that Strat has come into this from like a bumbly cute, like, I'm going to be called Winkle. And then I'm sorry to say, the three women on the table have gone, oh no.
Strat encountered this story first as a small child and is approaching it with the innocence of a child.
Yeah.
Yes, and we will ruin it.
And I've written it in pen on my character sheet.
Well, that's it. It's
So
done
it's
forever.
going to have to happen now. And so the built-in...
Change it to Twinkle. It's different vibe,
It's
isn't it?
very, it's a very different vibe. It wasn't Winky, I suppose. I think that's worse. But my traits are very small.
Yeah.
And wall climbing.
I think it's really interesting that very small is a trait and very big is a flaw.
Yeah.
I guess, but they can both
They
work
can both be both.
ways.
Yeah. Traits and flaws can equally give an advantage or disadvantage. What colour? Are you
Purple.
A purple. Purple worm. In the book, there's pictures of worms wearing like chef hats and eye patches and little top hats and stuff. Does Winkle have any clothes?
Yes, Winkle does. He'll be wearing a little jacket, like a little leather jerkin, and a thimble on his head, because Winkle really wants to be a knight of yore.
Oh.
And that is why Winkle, unlike a lot of other worms, has left wherever the worm people are to go on a quest of his own to become the first ever worm knight.
Cute.
Yeah.
This has been Labyrinth Untold, a studio production from Merely Roleplayers, starring me, Matt Boothman, as Gundle, Ellie Pitkin as Sir Barold von Branwick, Helen Stratton as Linda, Strat as Winkle, and Natalie Winter as the Goblin Queen. Nat planned this season, I edited and produced this episode, and the theme music is by Alexander Pankhurst. We were playing Jim Henson's Labyrinth The Adventure Game by Ben Milton and Jack Caesar, published by Riverhorse at riverhorse.eu. Merely Roleplayers is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on. Foggy Outline. Undivide your world.